Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into one of the creepiest new anime adaptations, Uzumaki. If you're a fan of Junji Ito's work, you already know we're about to enter a world of twisted madness. But does this anime really do justice to the terrifying world of spirals? We'll be breaking down the story, animation, and atmosphere, so let's get into it. Uzumaki is set in a small, fog-covered town of Kuruzucho. On the surface, it seems like any other quiet, sleepy town, but something's very wrong here. The entire town is slowly falling under a mysterious curse, and the thing that's at the heart of it... Spirals. Yeah, spirals. It sounds strange at first, but that's what makes Junji Ito's work so unique. He takes something ordinary, something you see every day, and turns it into a source of unimaginable horror. We follow Kiriko Shima, an ordinary high school girl, and her friend Shuichi Sato. Shuichi's the first to notice that something's off. His father becomes obsessed with spirals, collecting anything spiral-shaped, staring at snail shells for hours, and even contorting his body into spiral shapes. The story escalates quickly from strange to terrifying as Shuichi's father spirals, literally, into madness. His obsession with spirals ends up consuming him, and it's one of the most unsettling moments early on. But the horror doesn't stop there. This curse spreads to others in the town, warping both their bodies and minds. People start transforming into grotesque spiral-shaped monstrosities, and the thing is, there's no escape. The more they try to leave the town, the more the spirals seem to tighten their grip, trapping them. What really makes the story effective is the slow, creeping dread. Each episode builds up the tension little by little. You can feel the town slowly being swallowed by the curse, and as a viewer, you're left questioning what's causing this. Is there a way to stop it? But here's where the story might lose some people. The pacing is deliberately slow, and it takes its time revealing the full scope of the horror. If you're not into slow burn storytelling, the early episodes might feel like they drag a bit. But if you stick with it, Uzumaki pays off by sinking you deeper into the madness. This isn't your typical action-packed horror. It's all about the psychological terror, the kind that stays with you long after you've finished watching. Now, let's talk about the animation. The studio took a bold approach here. They opted for a black and white, hand-drawn aesthetic to mimic Junji Ito's original manga. It's a really unique style, especially in a time when most anime go for vibrant colors and smooth, flashy animation. The black and white choice makes everything feel timeless, almost like an old horror film. It also adds this raw, eerie quality that fits perfectly with the atmosphere of the story. That being said, it's not perfect. The slower pacing of the animation can feel a little jarring at times. Some scenes almost feel like you're watching still images move in and out of frame. On one hand, this really amps up the tension you're stuck in these drawn-out, uncomfortable moments. But on the other hand, it can feel stiff. There are moments where I wish the animation had more fluidity, especially when the horror ramps up. Where the animation really shines, though, is in the portrayal of the spirals themselves. Whether it's a tiny spiral in the clouds, or a person twisting into a grotesque shape, the detail is unnerving. The way the spirals are drawn makes them feel alive, like they're creeping into every corner of the town. That slow, deliberate movement of the spirals makes you feel like you're being pulled in right along with the characters. Now, this is where Uzumaki really excels the sound design. The atmosphere is haunting, and the sound plays a huge role in that. From the quiet, unsettling ambient noises to the sharp, jarring sound effects when something horrifying happens, everything is designed to keep you on edge. The spirals aren't just visually disturbing. They have this almost organic, sinister sound to them that makes you feel like they're alive, like they're watching. The music, or rather the lack of it in certain parts, also adds to the tension. When there's music, it's this eerie droning sound that builds a sense of dread, but the moments of silence are just as powerful. Those quiet moments before something awful happens really get under your skin, and the voice acting deserves a mention, too. Shuichi's paranoia and fear are palpable, and Kiri's confusion and growing horror are perfectly captured. The characters feel real in their terror, and that pulls you even deeper into the nightmare. So, does Uzumaki live up to its expectations? For fans of Junji Ito's original work, I'd say yes, it's a faithful adaptation that captures the disturbing psychological horror of the manga. The slow pacing, the unsettling animation, and the sound design all come together to create a truly creepy atmosphere. But it's not for everyone. If you're looking for fast-paced horror with lots of action, Uzumaki might not hit the mark for you. This is slow burn horror at its finest. It takes its time, lets you stew in the weirdness, and then hits you with moments of pure terror. So, if you're a fan of psychological horror that messes with your head, I think Uzumaki will pull you in. But if you're not prepared for the slow pace and more abstract storytelling, it might not spiral into your favorites. Like and subscribe so you won't miss our anime content where we dive deep into the story